the review. Life of Chesties for Tyler Perry Sistas, Season 9, Episode 5. First things first, let me know y'all thoughts on tonight's, excuse me, let me know y'all thoughts on tonight's new episode down below. I said, okay, first things first. Ebony, ain't that her name? The one that's playing Karen? Ebony playing that part, y'all. Oh, what she told the baby, she said, shh, 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 he'll be back. I said, oh my goodness. I was really hoping that they moved on with this. Not necessarily moved on from it altogether, but the part where Karen just laying in the bed and stuff like that, I was thinking that the cliffhanger was going to be, her the baby and stuff like that and finally holding the baby. But no, y'all, it's still continuing. It's still continuing. And it look like next week, it continues some more. Hold on. Based on the trailer, the first trailer that I've seen, they haven't dropped the other one yet. Looks like she still be doing the same thing. But it look like she done moved to the kitchen now. And he's gonna be talking, Aaron's gonna be talking to somebody saying, she's acting strange or whatever. So I was like, at least she getting to y'all. First she was in the bed and she stayed in the bed. Now she in the kitchen. So maybe she'll actually hold in faith on next week's episode. And I've seen a lot of people saying they think that the reason why she's acting that way is because the baby that died was Zach and her baby instead of, Aaron's baby. I was like, I don't know. I wouldn't say that. Now, I don't know. We'll see soon enough. I'm sure they're going to end up having her have a conversation, an honest conversation or whatever. Even on today's episode, Aaron said something to Miss Lisa about, he has his own concerns, his own feelings. And I was waiting on him to say it. I was waiting on him to say it. I wanted to know if he felt the same way. That he feels like the reason why she's struggling so hard is because, it was Zach's baby or whatever. Excuse me. And I was like, so she hasn't held faith at all? Oh no, y'all. Y'all might be right. But at the same time, like, either way it go, whether it was Zach baby or Aaron baby, that still was her. She grieving. You can't rush the process. You definitely can't. But I'm interested to see if they're gonna continue this whole Karen being, I ain't gonna say obsessed, but Karen being stuck upon Zach. Hopefully not. Hopefully this is not what that's about. Hopefully this is just about her losing her child, y'all. Hopefully so. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, this was an okay episode or whatever. Let's start from the beginning. So they picked up where they left off, where Rich and Sabrina just yelling and stuff. I said, y'all, you're at work, right? So she was telling him that, and she was like, what woman in her right mind would want a cheater or whatever? And I said, she's still calling him a cheater. She's still trying to make it seem like he cheating or whatever. But he was trying to tell her, it was nothing or whatever. It was nothing going on. There was just a childhood friend and all this other stuff. We grew up together. It's not like that. It meant nothing to me. I said, ain't that what they always say anytime they get caught? But technically, he didn't do nothing wrong because, they wasn't together. It's just how fast he moved. It's just how fast he moved on. They saying that Danny Cousin Rock is going to be with Sabrina and Dr. Vaughn is going to be with Andy. I said they don't know who they want these folks with. And another thing I was going to say is whoever was saying that Tony would eventually resent Danny for quitting his job or whatever, I think y'all might be right. I was hoping that they didn't go with this storyline, but y'all might be right. Because on tonight's new episode, he kept on saying, you was right. I listened to my girl. I listened to you or whatever. I should have listened to you before. And he was just all happy and stuff. And I said, once reality set in, he may just start to resent her. But yeah, and she was picking up on it. I said, does she think he gonna ask her for money or something? And he was saying how he good or whatever. But I don't know, y'all. But yeah, I'm gonna just scan these notes and tell y'all. Like I said, Sabrina ended up calling Richard. Penelope ends up coming in. They were saying how they tried to stop her. She wanted to explain things. She was just saying how her and Rich, they just friends and it meant nothing. The same thing he was saying basically. But I was like, they technically don't have no, especially Penelope, you could go on about your business, sweetheart. Over here trying to explain herself too and trying to make things better, trying to smooth things up. And I was like, but technically she was the one who broke up with him. You can't break up with people, then tell them how to, react or whatever. But at the same time, that do make you look suspicious like you was cheating the whole time. Because y'all be hanging out and all this extra stuff. But I don't know, y'all. And not only that, I haven't heard anything. Well, I take that back. I was about to say I haven't heard anything about the money. But remember when she was talking to Maurice, she said something about, did she say they were supposed to be boys? That the embryo was supposed to be boys? I don't know, y'all. That's what I think she said. But I think that's the only thing we really heard. But yeah, they saying that Danny Cousin Rock is going to be the one that Sabrina hooks up with. And I was like, dog, so they just be bringing these people on the dog show for no reason? Hold on. It was something else. What was it? Oh, we haven't got to that part, but I might as well say it now. I think Sabrina was telling Penelope and Rich to leave. I think she told Penelope to leave, and she was like, "Take Rich with you or whatever." I don't know what Penelope said, so she moved the chair. Sabrina moved the chair out the way. She stepped to her, and I said, "That's right. Show her you ain't Andy." Excuse me. Show her you ain't Andy. Scary self. Go on, step to. I said, "Look at Sabrina." I said, "Sabrina, Paige watch you." I said, "You still can't trust her. You can't trust her. Then you at work." I said, "Don't do it. It's not worth it. Don't do it." But they ended up leaving. They ended up leaving or whatever. And like on next week's episode, she over here talking about something. She finna enter her, doc, I can't say the word. Her 304 phase. She finna enter her 304 phase, y'all. And I said, I thought she wanted to have a family. I thought she was itching and desperate to have this family. I was like, I'm so confused. I don't know where they going with this. Then they saying it's supposed to be a season 10, that they supposed to be filming soon. I don't know how true that is, but that's what they've been saying. Let me see what else. They showed Andy, and she was thinking about what happened with Hudson, and she started freaking out. She was crying and stuff like that. I don't know, what's it called? PTSD? I don't know if she got there. I don't know if she was having an anxiety attack or what. But yeah, she was just crying and breathing all hard and stuff like that. Did they do a storyline like that before with her? I don't know, y'all. But yeah, she was struggling. She was like pulling together or whatever. So she just started to look at the case about, Dr. Cruz and all the patients he don't let die and stuff like that. Penelope and, I did skip ahead. Penelope said they just friends. Rich said it meant nothing. Tony was happy that he quit. He just stand up there smiling and stuff. He just stand up there smiling and stuff like that. And he was like trying to explain to her, talking about he listened to her. And he kept saying it the whole time. Every time they showed him and her, he kept saying how, yeah, I listened to you or whatever. I should listen to you before. And he just all smiling. I said, is he testing her? I don't know, y'all. But he just kept smiling and kept reminding her that he listened to her. And I was like, yeah, y'all might be right. He may start to resent her. What else? He was just talking about now they could be together. He was like, you said you didn't want to do long distance and stuff like that. And he was basically saying how she's never satisfied. And I was like, he ain't lying about that. He definitely didn't. I don't think none of them really know what they want or who they want. I feel like they think that they can have their way and that's it. Nobody else's opinion matters. Even on today's episode when Danny was talking to Zach, she was mentioning Preston and stuff like that about how he gave her an ultimatum. I don't think I said that right. Hold on. Hey, how you doing today? But yeah, what else? Let's see. Where I stop at? Oh, the security guard came with Tony boxes and stuff like that. And he was like, he'll talk to her later. He wants to meet up for dinner and stuff like that because they about to escort him out. So they end up escorting him out. He just walking out. Somebody said, you carry that because I don't work here no more. And I was like, yeah, he in denial. He in shock. He in something. He in something. He's like, yeah, you carry that. I was like, yeah, it's going to set in eventually, y'all. Especially when he realized there's no pleasing Danny. But yeah, I skipped the part. She wanted him to go back and undo what he did to get his job back. And he was telling her, he was doing what she wanted. Aaron's still struggling with his feelings about everything that's going on. I really wanted him to say, what he was struggling with. He was talking to Miss Lisa. She was talking about going grocery shopping. I think they was talking about going grocery shopping. Excuse me. But yeah, she ended up thanking him for as much as he's been doing and stuff like that. Andy listened to Robin's voicemail. He talked about spending the rest of his life with her. And I was like, dog, they done brought, here you go again. Another person they done brought back for nothing. For nothing. And she was talking to Fatima also. And she was saying something about how she thinks he's moving on. And I said, you could have stopped him. I guess she didn't listen to that voicemail. I guess she didn't listen to that one. But what else? Let's see. Hayden still being Hayden. He ended up stopping by, just messing with Fatima, talking crazy and stuff like that. Yeah, I did too. I liked Danny's talk with Zach or whatever. I'm interested to see next week, how he continues to process things. But yeah, Hayden still being Hayden, messing with Fatima. And he told me, so she looked burned out. I said, well, she do look burned out. I said, it's a lot going on. Then she pregnant. She trying to help Zach. She trying to check on Andy and help her. She was helping Karen. I was like, yeah, she gonna have to take some time for herself. But yeah, she ends up making a call to Zach or whatever to check on him, make sure he ate. He was like, no, or whatever. So she ended up ordering him food. Pam ends up calling to check on Karen. And Aaron was trying once again to express how he felt. Pam didn't care. Did she say her salon? Did she say her salon? But yeah, she running the salon and everything. Let's see. Andy ends up telling Fatima what she found in Dr. Cruz's case. She thinks that they may be able to file for malpractice or whatever. And Fatima was questioning, how she got the information. And she was like, she was able to cut corners. Hopefully Dr. Vaughn don't get in trouble Andy's supposed to be talking to the other partner. Ain't he a partner too, or is he the boss? Either way it go, that same dude we've seen multiple times. That dude. And I was like, what if they play golf together? What if they friends or something? I don't know, y'all. We'll see. What else? Let's see. Andy started to talk to Fatima about Robin moving on or whatever, and they was just talking about her and how she processed and everything. Excuse me. I think they got a call saying Miss Marie sent somebody for Andy. It was some dude named Kendrick. I didn't know his name at first, y'all, but his name Kendrick. And he was just more problems over here. They got enough going on as it is. Hold on. They don't got through one thing, then here come 10,000. Here go 10,000 more problems. But nah, let me see what else. Let's see. Danny and Tony was out to dinner, and she ended up asking him. She ended up asking him how he gonna pay for the dinner. And he peeped game. He was like, "You trying to make it seem like he a loser or something like that." And I think did he say he had savings? I don't know. Either way it go. Hey, how you doing today? Well, I should say tonight. How y'all doing tonight? But yeah, she just kept making jokes, and once again, he repeated, I listened to you or whatever. I resent her. He already mentioned that he did it because of her. But yeah, he also said, how she never satisfied and that he didn't lie. He definitely didn't. Let's see. I said he keeps mentioning Danny. He agrees with her. I'm good and you do go live every minute. Sometimes I didn't go live last weekend because they had took my video down. They took my video down for some reason. I don't think I said nothing bad either. I don't know. Let's see what else. Let's see where I stop at. Oh, the guy's name's Kendrick. He was talking to Fatima or whatever, and he kept looking at her. We already talked about that. Leonard still got all eyes on Danny. Still watching her. I said, you ain't learned yet. Hey, she don't threaten you already. She done told you she got a hot cup of coffee, and you still in her face. You still being nosy. I said, being nosy is not going to score you no points. Being a snitch is not going to score you no points. I mean, sometimes it do, though. Hold on. Sometimes it do. Let's see. Danny ends up calling the chick on Karen, but she didn't pick up the phone. That's when Danny cousin Rock arrived or whatever. He was like he out or whatever. He out of jail. I'm assuming that's what he was talking about. But yeah, he out. He ends up trying to get money out of her, talking about some doggone. He heard she got some money. I was, how much did she get? They like she done got a whole lot of something. But yeah, I was like, how he find it out? I said, now how he find it out? And he was locked up. But yeah, let's see. Aaron ends up going into the room with Faith. He was holding her, and he tried to check on Karen. He ends up telling her, just encouraging her and stuff like that, reminding her that she's still there, she's still there or whatever, and that she's loved, and that he's not going anywhere. And she was like, she's not meant to be a mother. That's why she lost forever or whatever. That's why she lost her daughter. And he's like, if that wasn't the case, you wouldn't still have Faith or whatever. You wouldn't still have your other daughter. And that's when I was thinking about what a lot of people were saying. They think that she's, struggling because, she lost Zach's baby versus Aaron's. But I was like, I don't think nobody would really be dealing with things good if they lost a child. But I don't know. I don't want to make excuses for her. We'll see next week, I'm assuming. We'll see, though. But yeah, let's see what else. But yeah, she was just sitting there. And like I said, I think the last thing he said was that he's there for her. I thought for sure the end of this episode, how they had showed on the promo, she was walking up to the baby. I was hoping that she picked the baby up in her arms and was just crying and holding the baby. She went in the room. But yeah, what else? Let's see. Hayden ends up coming into the meeting with Fatima and Kendrick. She was doing a good job. I said, she gonna be a real good lawyer, y'all. She ended up reading the contract or whatever and saying that they basically trying to get over on him. Y'all know I always tell y'all, make sure y'all read something before y'all sign it. Make sure you read it. But yeah, she was telling him everything in there about how they could just fire him over any little thing and they could keep the money and everything else. And he was just thanking her, saying that she gonna be a good lawyer too. And here come Hayden. Here come Hayden trying to, I guess he was a fan or something. He was shaking his hand and stuff like that. He was trying to come for Fatima. Miss Marie came in there talking about some she wanted Andy on it. I said, Andy got her own little stuff going on. She got her own little stuff going on. But yeah, but she was like, do you got it for Fatima? And she was like, yeah. So she was okay with it. What else? Let's see. Rock said he a free man. He heard that Danny got money. Leonard came over there talking about Tony can't save her anymore. And Rock and Danny ended up running him off. He ends up asking for money. Danny gives him $20, and he's talking about he gonna pay it back. I said he probably gonna want some more. They end up showing Zach, and he's drinking and stuff, and he's struggling. He just struggling. He talking about pull it together. He's like, basically saying how men supposed to they ain't supposed to process their emotion. They ain't supposed to cry or anything like that. And he just started saying pull it together, drinking, throwing stuff or whatever. Except when Danny stopped by, yeah. Danny ended up stopping by to check on Zach. They end up smoking and stuff like that. So he started to say, it's his fault that the baby died. He should have left Karen alone. He shouldn't have stressed out. I said, well, technically, she stressed herself out. Technically, the whole pregnancy, and it's been a long time, a long pregnancy, she was stressing herself out. Nobody told her to do any of the stuff she did. And once again, I was also saying, I want to know, when Andy does this lawsuit or whatever, are they going to try to flip it and say they told her from the beginning it was high risk and to sit down somewhere, and she hasn't been sitting down nowhere? Or are they going to actually hold the man accountable? I don't know, y'all. Well, let's see, what else? Like I said, they was talking about that, and Danny was telling him he can't blame himself. It's not his fault. What else? She ends up telling him, Fatima and you got a baby on the way. Basically, that's your second chance. If you want to do better, then do better or whatever. And I was like, I'm glad she said that. I'm glad they mentioned that or whatever. But yeah, she was just encouraging him, and he was thanking her and stuff. I like their friendship. Now, I didn't agree with how it all came about, her recording them in the bathroom, because a lot of people like to forget that part. But I definitely like their friendship. I like their conversation. What else? Let's see. They end up showing Aaron with the baby and stuff like that. Karen ends up coming out the room. And I was like, yes, about time. I said, she up, y'all, she up. I said, here you go. She was like, I'm just here for water. I said, dog. And he's like, something about, I don't know if he said he was going out to the car, the truck, or whatever he said to get it. And he left or whatever. And the baby was like crying and stuff like that. And she was like, shh, shh. Look, I forgot now. I should have started with that. What she said, shh, shh, shh. He'll be back soon. So she said. And then she started walking over there or whatever, and she was like, she should do something. She was like thinking that, you know how they played the audio if y'all didn't see the actual episode. It was like her thoughts out loud, and she was like, do something. I should do something. I should pick the baby up and all this other stuff. And I was like, yeah, you should pick the baby up. And she was like, no, I can't do it. I'm a horrible mother. Basically saying she's not being meant to be a mother again. Excuse me. Basically saying how she's not meant to be a mother again. And she started walking away or whatever, and she went in the room. And I said, oh, we were so close. We were so close, y'all. But yeah, she's still struggling. And I was like, dog. I said, babyface just laying right there or whatever. I'm ready to hear what Aaron thinks. I'm ready to hear how he feels. Excuse me. I think somebody said they think that if Zach come to talk to her, that she'll get up. Look, I'm hoping they don't go with that storyline no more, y'all. I'm really hoping that they move on past this. They've been doing this since what? How many seasons it's been? But yeah, I think that was the last thing. Her saying she can't or whatever, and she a horrible mother, and going in the room. Yeah, I think that was it. Y'all. What did y'all think of the episode? Let me know down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, do